Plaintiff, Gwen Hunegard, says the defendant was her son's live-in nanny, and Gwen considered her part of the family. Gwen says she appreciated the defendant's outspoken personality, but she's suing her today for a loan, interest, and late fees. Defendant Herlinda Gamez cannot believe Gwen is suing her today, considering the fact that Herlinda worked as her nanny, housekeeper, and chauffeur, and she even donated her eggs to help Gwen have another baby. She's countersuing Gwen for harassment.
All right, and you're suing your former nanny for $4,450 for an unpaid loan, interest, and late fees?
Yes.
And you're countersuing for $1,000 for harassment?
Yes.
All right, you say this is your former nanny?
Yes, she was my...
When you were a baby or when? She doesn't look that old.
No, she was my live-in nanny for my son.
For your son?
Yes,
okay.
From 1994 to 2002. She took care of my son. He was, I think, 1.5 years old and did everything for us.
Okay.
She was part of the family.
Let me ask you, because I'm always interested in knowing this. What's the difference between a nanny and a babysitter?
I don't know.
Titles? Yes, ma'am, you tell me.
Well, a nanny is someone who is fully committed and is
Well, babysitters aren't?
Well, no, fully committed and like the time-wise,
around.
Your Honor, time-wise.
Pardon?
Meaning time-wise. I was there 24 hours living there, which a babysitter, you can hire her for like, to do their duties for like 3 hours. It's just a difference, that's all.
Okay, so all those folks who only take the child to school, pick the child up, and care for the child until the parent comes home, they're not nannies, they're babysitters.
Yes.
I need to talk to all that. I need to tell all them folks, still in your title. You ain't no nanny, you're a babysitter. Those folks who only take the child to school, pick the child up, and care for the child until the parent comes home, they're not nannies, they're babysitters.
Yes.
I need to talk to all that. I need to tell all them folks, still in your title. You ain't no nanny, you're a babysitter.
Defendant Herlinda Gamez says she worked as the plaintiff's live-in nanny for 8 years. And while there, she donated her eggs to the plaintiff to help her conceive another child.
You had a nanny that lived with you?
And she was with us for 8 years. And we have remained friends. After 8 years, she left to raise her own children and then get married. So I know that I value her friendship, and I'm sorry that, this situation has occurred.
This the only time you all have fallen out?
A bit, just a bit. But I know that Linda's very outspoken, and she will speak her mind. A couple of examples are, I would come down for work, all dressed, ready to go, and she would look at me and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you look awful. Go back upstairs and change." So, I would, back my way back up to the room and get changed.
That's nice of her.
Yeah.
Unless you disagreed, unless you found it insulting.
Well, I figured she must see something I don't see. And then another memory that I have that was, she was pretty outspoken, is when she was really sick, and her boyfriend, Lee, who is now her husband, he came over to bring her flowers, and he had the little flowers and knocked on her bedroom door, and all I heard was, "I hate yellow flowers," and she threw them at him, and he ran out of the house.
No
and
flowers,
I
she
didn't see him.
wanted medicine. Coming in with some medicine or something she ain't supposed to eat.
I have no idea, but she doesn't like yellow
Coming
flowers.
in with some fried food, right? Doctor told you not to have any. If you're gonna come in here, bring me something the doctor told me I'm not supposed to have.
You're right.
Thank you. No
But
flowers.
I think, she...
Medicine or fried chicken, one of those.
Yes. Oh, you're so right. Yes.
I think she's outspoken, which is part of who she is as her personality.
All right, and you tell me about your experience keeping the child and working for Miss Gwen.
Well, like I said, very happy. I worked for her for 8 years, but I say, how dare she bringing me to this court for a $1,000 loan, which is outrageous to me. How dare she doing this to me now? When I worked for her 8 years, I was not only her nanny, I was her chauffeur, I was her housekeeper, I was someone who took her son to school, take care of him like long hours, never complained, happy to do it again. Not only that, I was also a friend who donated my eggs for her to be able to conceive another child, which, by the way, she got pregnant of twins, and unfortunately, she lost them, you know, and it was sad. When she went to divorce, I was with her as well. Yeah, I left for like several years to raise my own family, but when she went back into divorce, I was there as her friend, as someone who loved her and support her dearly. That's why I got very upset. And I knew about my loan with her, but I got very upset when she called my husband and got him involved in a deal that it was only between the two of us.
And you say 1,000. She's suing you for
Oh, yes.
4,500.
Absolutely. Yes.
Ma'am, you tell me about the loan. Or...
We have a contract. In July of 2018, she called me up and asked me if she could borrow some money so that she could get a car, and she was asking for $1,750, and I'm on a fixed income, so I couldn't loan her the full amount, and she said that I was the only person that she could borrow money from, that no one else would lend her money. She said she was going to ask Lee if he would maybe give her some, so I did loan her $1,000. We had a contract.
You see it.
Okay.
Yes.
And that was when? 18?
That was in July of 2018. If you look at the agreement, it's an additional $200 interest charge. And then if one installment of $600 was due on October 28th, 2018, and another $600, the final installment was due November 28th,
None of that adds up to $4,450.
So the last two sentences of the contract, if the payment was late for either installment, there'd be a $5 charge per day. And so if she hasn't made any effort to pay one penny. And I needed that money to, by the end of the year.
So what percent interest is that per year?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, well, you should have known because this is illegal. This is what they call usury. That's even before you get to the late fees. That's what we call in the law unconscionable. You can have a contract, but the contract can be so one-sided and unfair that it's unenforceable in the law. And that's what I'm concluding, that this is unenforceable. This is an unconscionable, unfair contract. The late fee should perhaps be about $50 a month, something of that nature, not $5 a day. Also, the interest rate should not go beyond consumer loan, and that would be about 10%.
Defendant Herlinda Gamez says she worked as the plaintiff's live-in nanny for 8 years. And while there, she donated her eggs to the plaintiff to help her conceive another child.
What do you say about repaying, though, and then the harassment? You agree you owe, but just not the amount of interest and late fees. Okay.
Exactly, yes.
What about your counterclaim for harassment?
Yeah, there was no need to call my husband. She knew that I was going through separation, and she dared to call him.
I would like to say that Linda has talked about being separated from Lee many, many times, and I did not know that it was official. I did call Lee.
Yes, you knew.
Because I had texted her, I had emailed her, I had called her, and she did not respond in August. And I called Lee to find out if she was okay, what had happened, because now it's been over a year that I loaned her the money. And, you know, I love Linda. And, you know, I'm sad that, I loaned her money.
What is it you want to show me?
I would like to show you an evidence, Your Honor, that she knew very clearly, because she was on address at my house.
All right. Well, first of all, ma'am, you're suing her for something she advised your husband about you. Well, you know, you've been full of advice about her personal life for a long time, remember?
Yes.
You even told her what you think she should wear.
Yes.
So let's get away from that, because she's telling your husband that you should get your house in order regarding owing you money. And so I'm not going to grant you a harassment claim for that. I will grant you, ma'am, $50 a month on late fees. Grant you $2,050, ma'am. Your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I did not tell Lee to leave her. That was one of the allegations that she made just this last week or month. I did not say that.
I don't think it was right for her to call my husband when she knew that I was going through separation, when I was her full support, when she was going through divorce, that what makes it like not okay.
I only called him because apparently she had me blocked and was not returning phone calls, emails, or text messages. I only called him one time.
Yeah, and you text him plenty of times after that. So then please, shout it.
I hope that we can be friends and just move on from this. And I know I'll never lend anybody money ever, ever, ever again. I've learned a really hard lesson.
Lesson learned. Never want to try to go to desperation situations again.